Hello and welcome back to another Cabincast Rambles. I'm Oliver and I'm joined today by Tan.
Hello.
This is more Steven Universe, of course. Last time we did Future Boy Zoltron, which was fun old episode, short episode for us, but had some interesting stuff, but largely more of a relaxed episode about Mr. Smiley and Mr. Frowny and Steven and Future Vision and stuff, but learning that you can't always solve every problem and things like that. This week, what have we got this time, Tan?
We have Last One Out of Beach City.
Mm-hmm. Which I feel like is a riff on a title of a film or something, but I don't know what.
Maybe? Honestly, I don't know.
Yeah, me neither. But it's something.
Indeed, and this is a sort of bit of a Pearl-centric episode,
It
but with some
absolutely
fun
is.
antics and
Mm-hmm.
shenanigans.
Indeed.
And that's the sort of thing I like.
Yeah.
So we start off in the house, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Pearl and Steven are playing with a puzzle,
They
and
are.
Amethyst is excited about going to a rock show.
Yeah.
And, if we were thinking about it, then we can see Amethyst's character, and we know who that she and Pearl are.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, yeah, okay. Amethyst would go to a rock concert, and Pearl would
Mm-hmm.
do a puzzle. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But
It's also
this,
nice again to see Greg and Amethyst are, fully just friends again, and they've worked through the issues that they had, and it's all good.
yeah, they seem to be getting along,
Yeah.
except for the fact that Greg can't actually make it,
Yeah.
because they're gonna play cards with Bob and Vidalia.
Indeed.
It's like how when you're at like secondary school, it's like you want to come over to play some videos game,
Mm-hmm.
and but
Exactly.
before it would have been like, yeah, heck yeah, I'm doing that. Now it's like, I've got to do like laundry, and I've got to check my electric meter. I've got to fill that up if I've. It's like, oh yeah, got to do like adult things.
Mm-hmm.
But when that news is revealed, Pearl perhaps
Mm-hmm.
enters the ring.
Indeed.
Pearl's a rebel. They were literally rebels. They were the Crystal Gems, rebels from Homeworld.
They were. It's true.
And so, Pearl is someone who not only, likes to she likes to sort of appear like a role model to Stephen,
Mm-hmm.
someone who
Yeah.
Stephen can look up to. We
Yeah.
saw that back
Absolutely.
in like Coach Stephen, for example. She really wants Stephen to look up to her.
Indeed.
And, Stephen's pretty excited about the idea of going to a show.
Yeah.
And so Pearl wants to join in, perhaps.
Indeed.
But she can't like escape so easily that image that she presents to society
Mm-hmm.
as like this sort of slightly boring, you know, puzzle doer.
Yeah,
Not that there's anything wrong with puzzles,
not at all.
um, but the show kind of riffs on that.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, Amethyst just having a great time with the whole thing as well,
Exactly, exactly. And
which is it's fun.
Pearl gets to wear some human clothes,
She does.
which we don't often see. I don't know if we've ever seen.
No. Um, very briefly, like when they have their meal. Um,
Oh yeah, Mr. Greg.
we have them, Mr. Greg, and like a couple of times when they have other people. There's another time they do something with the coffees. I think they did like the beach barbecue thing that
Yeah, I
goes
think she
wrong.
shapeshifts that outfit.
True, they maybe don't wear them. You make a very good point. But yeah, Mr. Greg, they wear suits, and
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly. And Pearl is, she's going full on. Not only is she wearing the jacket, she's flipping up the collar.
yeah, it's true.
And she even, out of really wanting to be there, she even takes a drink
Mhm.
and puts fluids in her mouth, which,
Yeah.
she's got a thing about, and we've seen that multiple times. She really, really does not want to. Um, and we find out the reason why a lot later on in
Mhm.
season 5. But also, like, this is she's sort of getting out of her comfort zone by a very,
Yeah.
very long margin.
She is. She's acting. Yeah, because it's interesting because again, when we find out more about her, history, the Pearl that we usually see is always the Pearl. It's just she went along with Rose and Rose did things differently. So this is not really what she was like even then. But it is in a way. Um it's
No,
kind
she
of
had
a
her
weird
own
middle
form of
ground.
rebellion.
Exactly. It didn't have to be like this, but
It's like how, um, if you were existing in the 70s, maybe punk would have seemed rebellious, and the rebellious hippies from the 60s weren't.
yeah.
It's just a different kind.
Yep, exactly.
And speaking of punk,
Indeed.
Mystery Girl walks in,
Mystery girl walks in.
and Pearl is, well, Mystery Girl has pink hair, and it's large pink hair.
It's large pink hair. It's yeah. It's not to say Pearl has a type, but Pearl maybe kind of has a type.
Earl is very much flawed about this revelation that
Yes.
there are people who dye their hair. Didn't She
Mhm.
didn't know that.
She did
I
not
guess no
know
one in
that.
Beach City had really done that.
No, they're all kind of normies, I guess.
And
Um, but yeah.
as a rebel who's going to a show, they wanted to
Mhm.
try out the idea of
Mhm.
interacting with humans because we Pearl doesn't really do that.
No, not really.
I mean, she very rarely has interacted with anyone other than like Greg and Connie,
Greg
and
and
she was
Connie.
weird with both of them, so it didn't go well.
No.
And so they encourage her to talk to the mysterious girl.
They do. And she sure tries it.
Oh, she gave it a real college try.
She sure did. It didn't go great
It didn't go great. It's
this
like
first time.
rolling a one on
It was a
charisma.
bit, indeed. Yeah. Wasn't her best shot, but hey, you know, there we go. Sometimes that happens. And luckily, she doesn't just get super embarrassed by the fact that that happens. She kind of deals with it
Yeah,
and moves on. So yeah, they get back to the Dondai because they borrowed the Dondai again.
they did. They did. Um, we get to listen to a bit of Mike Kroll.
Hmm.
He's the person that they talked about that they were going to the show for, who's a
Yeah.
real artist and who made the song that is featured quite often in this episode.
Very cool.
Very good.
Hmm. Indeed. But Steven seems kind of confused, or not confused, but like he's like, I feel like I need to say something. Um, because Amethyst has kind of been like, haha. Anyway, um, but then again, it's not Amethyst's mum, so
Yeah, exactly. And
indeed.
Stephen reveals that yeah, Mystery
Hmm.
Girl kind of looked like Rose,
Yeah,
but Paul denies that was the reason why she was awkward.
yeah. She's like, I'm being a new person, and I gotta go speak to people. And I'm not quite there with that yet. There's nothing else going on, which
She
they
wants
don't really
to
buy.
she wants to not think about the past
Yeah.
and only about the future.
Hmm.
But as we know, that ain't so easy. We've seen that
No,
in
it's
mindful
not.
education. It's not easy to just not think about the past and the things that you and the people around you have done.
Hmm.
And when you don't think about it, it can sort of bubble up and boil over.
Yes.
But as they're talking about it, Mystery Girl appears yet again, this time
She
on a,
does.
a cool motorcycle.
On a motorcycle.
And like every time Mystery Girl even exists around
Hmm.
Pearl, she starts blushing
Yep,
because she smiles at her, and that's enough. It's
it
enough
is.
to start the light show.
Hmm.
But then they reach a red light, and the Mystery Girl manages to catch it, and
Hmm.
they have to stop because the light
Hmm.
goes red. And I,
Indeed.
boy, when that happens, I'm out driving.
Hmm.
That's annoying.
It is.
Like,
I mean, that light change, however, was illegal. That was not amber for anywhere near long enough. Um,
illegal here, maybe. In America, the traffic lights are messed up.
they are messed up, but there's still a time because there was this guy, I don't remember his name, but in certain places in America, they were changing the traffic lights so that they were amber for less time, so that they would catch more people out for going through red lights. So they could charge more people. Um, because greed and such. And this guy straight up called them out for it, and then started going and like uh painting over the signs and messing with the wires and all sorts of nonsense. And he kept getting in trouble for it, but then they keep doing it, and so he'd keep getting out and then going back and doing it because they were still doing it. And then I think they eventually put like a camera to watch his house, and he sprayed the camera. Um, I can't remember his name is, but he's a really interesting person, and just was some really ridiculous stuff that you know companies and councils and stuff trying to get away with. But anyway, yeah,
Yet
they all
another
kind of
rebel.
yeah, they all kind of bummed out. Um,
But Pearl's a
but
rebel.
Pearl's a rebel now, and also not bound by human laws, so it's a tad less rebellious than it would be for like Connie to do it, um, who could actually legitimately get in trouble. But still, for Pearl, she knows the human rules kind of for driving anyway. She knows about driving, it seems.
Yeah, she
Um,
studied up, it seems.
yeah, and she goes for it.
Yeah, she just like launches off
She
while the
does.
light is still red. She's going she's going full on instinctual improvisation. No plans.
Indeed.
Stephen is terrified. Amethyst is loving it.
Mhm. You Pearl, no plan.
Um Stephen, Stephen is does not want to break the law. He's a
No.
nice he's a nice kid. Been brought up well, it seems, to respect law even though he doesn't exist
Mhm.
in the eyes of the government, I guess.
Mhm.
Um but you get the police lights.
Yep. Coincidental. Quite lucky. Yes. Everyone's a bit concerned now, but Pearl doesn't have a license, so
Yeah, not only does Pearl not have a license, she's in the country residing illegally without
yeah.
citizenship.
Or argument could be made that they were here first. So,
It's true.
but then that doesn't work in America at any other time. So maybe not. But yeah.
Since when has America cared about the people who are living there
Mhm.
beforehand?
Indeed. So what do they do? Well, they go faster,
Yep, they keep going.
and they zoom past Pink Hair Girl.
Yeah, who must be concerned at this point.
Hmm. And spins up the music really loud, and then does a cool drift and hides behind a sign. This is why we buckle up, which is still such a Pearl line, but manages to be so much cooler than most Pearl lines. Um,
Yeah, I mean she's not crazy enough to not wear a seatbelt.
no, of course not.
She's crazy enough to try and outrun the police
She is.
in what
Um,
is basically an A86 Toyota.
yeah, indeed.
But what it lacks for in speed, it's got the
A lot
cornering,
of
and she
maneuverability.
pulls the handbrake and just whoop, goes
Whoop.
behind a billboard,
She
like in
does.
Cars, the movie.
It's pretty great.
But then they're out of petrol,
Then they're out of petrol.
which is a like not wow. I mean,
There were a few
right there,
coincidences in this episode that you have to get past, but it's a very fun episode, so
they managed to be out of petrol the moment they try to start instead
yeah.
of like running out of petrol while they're driving is
Yes. It's impressive.
very impressive.
Yeah.
Very
Happens a lot
impressive.
in TV. Doesn't happen a lot in real life. But there we are.
Pearl, all of this, these shenanigans, Pearl is done. All of that, bottling up of her feelings that she's not been honest with herself
Hmm.
has caused her to snap, and she is done with all this. That she doesn't want to. She doesn't really want to keep keep at this charade.
Yeah.
She just wanted
It's
people to think that she was cool.
yeah, exactly. She's not actually really up for this whole rebel thing, at least in this way.
She's still rebellious, but
Yeah, she is, but in
she
her
just
way.
like thinks maybe she's not got what she used to be.
Yeah, again, like yeah, she's not that person anymore. She is different now, and that's okay.
But the others are here to cheer her on.
Yeah. They are.
that they already think she was cool.
Yeah.
That it doesn't matter what she thinks of herself in that moment. That she thinks
Mhm.
she was like that. What she did was well, kind of lame.
Yeah.
They really do think that she's cool after
Yeah.
that.
No, and
And
Steven's like,
Stephen
"This is the most scared I've been since you almost let me die."
and I have
Yeah.
to ask which time
Yeah. I
because there's
is
been
the have we
multiple.
missed the time, or, is the new times, or
Because
what? Because
it could be the one in Rose's Scabbard
yep,
where he falls off a cliff and
yep,
Pearl
nearly
just like
dies.
goes, "Huh, that's funny. I'm gonna not do
Oh,
anything
no!
about
Anyway,
that." Or
yeah,
it
it is a
could
bit a
be
bit like that.
when Pearl tried to launch them both off into space
Mhm, mhm.
in
Could
a
be.
homemade rocket that was disintegrating.
Yep,
That could
yep,
be it.
absolutely could be that.
Uh, could be the time they almost killed Stephen when he was in a joyride in one of Pearl's escape pods.
Yep,
Could
be
have been
then
that.
too. There's a
There's
few
there's there's a
times.
few.
There's a few times. There'll be a couple more.
There might
Um,
well be.
it's all right. It's okay. And he's just like, "And you're a criminal now." And at this point, uh, Pearl kind of regains her her composure because she's like, "Now, no, I have been a criminal for a long, long time, 6,000 years. So,
Exactly.
luckily, they were also really close to the concert.
Exactly. Yeah,
Coincidence?
they were.
Maybe. Fun? Yes. Um, and they made it, and it's just in someone's garage.
Yeah. Yeah, she said it was at someone's house at the start,
It's
so
at someone's house. Yeah, I also get that bit. So yeah, you know, kind of checks out that it wouldn't be that far. Um, and the girl is there as well.
exactly. And I don't know where that mystery girl lives. I mean, she went to the Big Donut,
Hmm.
and I mean, she must live in Beach City because it's on a peninsula. It's a complete like dead
Yep.
end.
Yep. Indeed.
It's like a cul-de-sac version of a town.
That that's yeah. That's a surprisingly accurate way of putting it, actually.
No one is. It's not a through road. No one's going to be going through it to get anywhere else
Yeah.
unless they wanted to stop at the Big Donut, which I suppose is fair. I mean, Mr. Smiley even made a health and safety commercial for it that one
It's
time.
true. He did do that.
Must be world famous,
It could be.
like Tim Hortons or Krispy Kreme.
That's
I wonder if it
true.
is a franchise.
I wonder if it. I feel like it is. You know.
Yeah, they have a
I
Tim
feel like
Hortons
it
in
is.
England.
They have a couple.
I saw one. I think I was in
They
Southampton or something
yeah.
buying Gundam.
Yes.
um,
That's
yeah, I spent like 100 quid that day. Uh,
fine. You're
but
not
I
gonna be
think I saw a
judged
Tim
by me for
Hortons.
that. Yeah, there's a couple of them about. I've been to one, but that was when I was in Canada. And it is odd because it's like it's always talked about like it's their McDonald's, and it is, but it's mainly a coffee shop. I get the feeling, so it's a bit odd. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's like
something else.
Starbucks or something.
Yeah, it's like a Starbucks that's also a fast food place. So it's certainly an interesting one.
Pearl is, she's not on that sort of adrenaline rush that she was on earlier,
No, she is
where
composed
she
now.
wasn't thinking clearly
Yeah.
and decided just to break the law.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, because she didn't want to wait like the 5 seconds a red light
Yeah.
would have been.
Mhm.
This time she knows what she's doing. She's sort of gone over it. She's had the reassurance from her friends.
Mhm.
and she's confident that she's going to be able to talk to Mystery Girl, and
Indeed.
she doesn't want to. Decides that she doesn't want to pretend to be anyone else.
She's just gonna be her.
Just going to be her. That was the
Yeah.
thing. She was putting on all this leather jacket, being cool. She wasn't being true to herself when she was doing that.
Yep. And now
But when
she
she
is.
is, and she's confident, she manages to talk to her.
Mhm.
And she's probably the weirdest person Mystery Girl has met, because she immediately starts talking about how she's a light construct and saved the
Yeah.
planet, and she's not human, maybe,
Mhm.
which is just so Pearl.
It is.
Um, it even like later in future when
Mhm.
she in Bismuth Casual, when she's like
Mhm.
shown to be a lot better at
Mhm.
talking to humans,
Mhm.
she's still she's still like that.
Mhm.
Like, I see you humans, love. Toilet roll. Du-du-du-du-du.
Mhm.
She's still herself, but brilliant
Mhm.
when
Yeah.
talking to people, just because she
Mhm.
knows that she can be herself around people, and that's okay.
Mhm.
And she
Yeah.
gets Mysterious Girl's number.
She does. She gets the number again. Like, yeah.
But it
Doesn't doesn't go
doesn't
anywhere
lead to
or
anything.
it
And she
might
doesn't
do, and we
think
just
that
don't see
it's
it. But
she doesn't think that it means anything.
no, she doesn't know what she says. It's some kind of code. It's like, no, no, you got a number.
And when we look into her gem later, she's got loads of numbers.
She does.
We don't know if they came in after or before.
Mhm.
I like the idea that after this episode, she's just been like going around to all sorts of concerts, talking to people and getting their numbers.
Yeah, quite possibly. That's
I
quite a
like the
fun
idea.
idea. Yeah. And yeah, we get these ending credits with which are the only they're kind of unique. We get Starving Pearl as repressed nerd, Amethyst as ultimate wingman, Steven as voice of reason, Mysterious Girl as herself, Mystery Girl as herself. It's just fun. It's a fun episode.
It's a good episode, and it's one of
It's
those
like
classic episodes,
being
and it's
yourself,
nice
you
to see
know?
some Pearl.
The best people in your life are the ones who are gonna care about you, are the ones who like you as you are, and not when you're putting on a show.
Exactly.
But you don't have to show everyone
Exactly.
everything, obviously. There's some things that you might only keep with certain people, but if you're being your honest self, that's the best way to be.
It
Um,
really is. It really is.
I think to some extent, not to get all mushy or anything, but we've since the last 13 years at this point. And granted, we didn't know each other super well back then, but a lot of the same people that we knew back then, we still know now. Um, and I think that definitely plays a part in it. Is that there is that level of honesty there. Um, so yeah,
We are
good.
sort of unambiguously ourselves around each other, and
Yeah.
that can sometimes end up poorly.
Do I know some things about Tan that maybe I'd rather not know? Sure. Um, but hey, that's life. And you know, it doesn't really change that much. And yeah. So it's better to know people for who they are and be able to, accept them anyway, because then they also know that you accept them, and then that means they know that they can continue to be comfortable around you and vice versa. So applies to
Mm.
not just relationships or potential relationships, but friendships as well.
Of
This
course, it
is
is impossible
important.
to like not put on some kind of performance.
Oh, absolutely. Everyone wears some kind of a mask, but it's whether you're wearing a mask all the time or where you're wearing a full mask or just, partially wearing a mask. Um, but at the very least, trying to be more of your real self around others, not keeping it all hidden away
I like to
via
think of
social
it
media.
as, yeah, wearing a mask is a good analogy, because there's a lot of ways you could wear a mask.
Hmm.
You can conceal your eyes, like
Hmm.
concealing your identity, like in a
Hmm.
masquerade ball. You
Indeed.
could conceal like your mouth, like
Hmm.
a medical mask,
Yep.
which is, trying to put on a different sort of outward impression.
Hmm.
But what if you just had a mask that was like over your cheeks
Yeah.
and nose? You're not concealing any part of your identity other than bits that don't matter to people knowing who you are.
Exactly.
And that's the kind of mask you should strive to have, even though it's completely metaphorical and you can't really live by that advice.
No. It's true. It's very interesting, but yeah.
Just think about cheek masks.
Indeed, cheek masks. This episode is also the title is a reference to Less Than Jake's 1998 song, "Last One Out of Liberty City."
I
Um,
see.
and apparently the puzzle is a reference to the webcomic Homestuck, which interesting name.
Oh,
Thank you
it's
for that.
always Homestuck, isn't it?
The name 612 is a recurring number in the webcomic, and the puzzle is made of black and white tiles, similar to the battlefield planet. I have not read Homestuck.
Probably
Um,
best to stay that way, I imagine.
I was going to say I feel like I've heard of Homestuck. Um,
You spend enough time on Tumblr and you won't hear anything but Homestuck.
ah. Oh, then yeah, we'll stay away. Um, but yeah, that is the great episode that is Last One Out of Beach City.
Can
However,
we do the next
we
one?
do have time,
We do have time.
so here we go.
Bit of Onion Gang.
Onion Gang.
Now, this is an episode that is fun.
This sure is one of the episodes of Steven Universe.
It's a if I still couldn't call it filler.
No, because like it's onion lore and
It's Steven still learns something,
Steven learns things, so it's not. Yeah, it's not filler, really.
but it's certainly one of the episodes that is not plot related.
Yeah, it's not really plot related for sure.
And it is a funny one with pretty much Steven as the only voice actor.
Yeah,
So if you don't like that, then boy, this is probably not going to be your episode. But it is funny.
yeah, exactly.
And we start off with Steven sort of just like narrating the adventures of Onion. That appears to be the sort of activity that Onion enjoys doing with Steven.
Hmm.
Like like a narrator from a book, Steven sort of talks about the things that Onion is doing and thinking as if he were the narrator of a book.
Hmm. Yeah,
Um, it's like the Stanley Parable.
yeah. In a sense, yeah. Actually, it it is. Um,
and,
because
and we
yeah,
get a couple of bits.
at one point you need to do something else when Onion doesn't talk back, and
It's
they
true.
just jump
Otherwise,
on the
Onion's
couch
going to
and try and
go
ask him.
and show you his
Yeah.
pregnancy pictures
Yes.
because Steven Universe is a show with Onion in it, and Onion is a character that eludes explanation.
Hmm.
Um, but as Onion, his father Yellowtail comes to collect him
Hmm. Or
after a little
just
bit of
yeah.
shenanigans.
Hmm.
Stephen talks about how um, Onion is lonely, doesn't really have any other friends who
Hmm.
are the same age as him.
Yeah.
But Stephen is like the one thing that Onion does have. And then being sort of selfless by giving him time to be his
Indeed.
friend.
Yeah.
And of course, this is an assumption that Stephen makes.
All of Onion Tales is assumptions. Yeah.
and it turns out not to be true.
It does. We also got a weird thing
But
in there where Steven's like, Onion wanted to take off his shoes, but he doesn't know how. And it's like, yeah, Onion's legs and like torso and feet are all one thing.
yeah, he's like
Is
wearing
Onion human?
he's onion. He's onion.
We think he's human. But yeah, no, this time Steven's going somewhere, and not the other way around.
Because when Onion comes along the next day,
Hmm.
he grabs Stephen
He
and brings him
does.
on for a maniacal ride through town.
Hmm.
And he whistles and summons his gang of masked marauders. Um, None of which say anything except for Garbanzo, who says his name.
Garbanzo. They don't say anything.
No, none of them say anything except for Garbanzo.
Hmm. And he doesn't say much.
And the only thing Onion goes is me 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 me. But yeah, it turns out that the mysterious ambushing gang is Onion's friends, who Onion wanted Steven to meet. You have Garbanzo,
Hmm.
um, Baby Pinto,
Hmm.
Squash, and Soup.
Indeed. Which are all largely food
Yeah,
related.
I mean, Onion is as well, isn't he?
Yep. Which is, is an interesting time, interesting thing.
And they get up to some wacky shenanigans. They've got
Yeah,
a
there's like not too much to say.
they do strange things. They have a car
Yep.
um, that they ride in, and then um, fake their own death.
Yeah.
Um, and Steven is like a little concerned about that.
Hmm.
I'm not. I think he's like genuinely concerned for Garbanzo's health,
Yeah, it's Steven. So
even though it was just ketchup. I guess that's also him making a few assumptions as well,
yeah,
but I'm not quite sure. But
indeed.
of course, it was a joke. But Steven's like not super comfortable with the joke.
No.
The next shenanigan is that they get a large um, trench coat, all climb inside it, and then flash Suitcase Sam,
Hmm.
which is another interesting activity. And they take a picture of that, and they have a tree full of pictures of people that they've flashed
Yep.
and their reactions. And Stephen is yet again not super comfortable with that.
Indeed.
And so every time they do something, he's like, "Oh, this is going to be a bit creepy again, isn't it?" And when they
It's
when they race the bugs
yeah.
and Stevens one wins, they hand him a mallet and ask him to crush the bug, basically.
Hmm.
Um, which he doesn't want to do, obviously.
No.
But now he's like totally creeped out.
Hmm. Just to
Like he,
quickly double back as well on the tree. Everyone largely is surprised. Sour cream's just kind of like no photos. And Garnet, because the future vision is just like giving a thumbs up because she already knew what was going to happen. Um,
That's true. I
just
hadn't
another
considered
another
that.
fun little detail.
That is fun.
But yeah, bugs, and the bugs are kind of going in their own lanes and sort of not. And yeah, Steven doesn't want to break the bug, hurt the bug.
No,
To
he
be fair,
eventually runs away.
it's like a stag beetle as well, so pretty hardy creatures. But Steven is a bit screwed. It's a bit concerning. It's a bit creepy again, much like times with Onion often are, and he runs away. And Onion's kind of sad, but Steven's scrolling through his phone when he gets home, and it's kind of like, huh, I guess it actually is me who's not got that many friends.
Yeah, because he tries ringing up and texting
Mm-hmm.
the other like two people he knows that are his age, which is
Yeah.
Connie and Petey.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the only people he knows that are his age,
Yeah.
and they're both busy because the summer holidays are coming to a close.
Yeah.
And obviously, Stephen doesn't go to school or anything, so he doesn't
No.
know anything about the holidays.
Indeed. He does not. He knows nothing.
And yeah, he realizes that
He was the lonely one all along.
indeed, and it's kind of sad
It is a little sad.
because
Yeah.
Stephen's all about making friends and getting the diplomatic solution, and then he realizes then and there that he really doesn't know that many people his age.
Nope.
Like he occasionally talks to the cool kids and Lars, but they're a lot older,
Yeah.
and the Gems are thousands of years old, and his dad's his dad,
Yeah.
and that's
Indeed,
kind
he
of it.
is. Yeah. It's not a massive pool of people. Speaks
No,
to other people very occasionally that are at the that are at Beach City, but doesn't know any of them super well.
no, exactly.
Yeah.
And obviously Connie lives quite far away,
Yes.
and Petey. I don't know how good friends they actually are.
No, it's hard to tell.
They don't. The only episode where they really interact is Frybo,
Mm,
and that one doesn't go so well.
no. It does not. If I feel like maybe when they were younger, they were more friends, and as they have kind of grown up, they've, you know, grown apart perhaps a little bit. They certainly do different things now.
But Onion, Steven's trying to reject Onion's like friendship because he thought he was maybe like hanging out with Onion, not only because he was his friend, but because it was sort of this sort of pity
Yeah.
aspect to it. And now that he knows that Onion has other friends, he's thinking that maybe Onion is the one who's just hanging out with him to pity him, and he doesn't want that.
Mhm.
And so he doesn't want Onion to be with him at that moment. But of course, Onion being Onion just like smashes through his door.
Yep. Onion knows better. Uh, um, and yeah, he kind of does in this situation. Um,
And Stephen's like they are the ones that you understand. They are real friends. And Onion disagrees vehemently. Onion wants to fight for this friendship
yeah,
and brings forth a token of
indeed.
that they understood that Stephen was um like uncomfortable, and they decided not to kill the bug because Onion gives Stephen the bug back
Yep.
as a token that they understood that he was uncomfortable with that, and they didn't want to
Yeah.
go through with it because it creeped him out. And Stephen realizes and then sees that it is the last day of the summer, and they're packing up to go back home, and
Mhm.
so that's the last time that
Squash.
Onion and his gang.
Yeah, suitcase full of squash and
It's, wait, what?
squash has just is just packing a suitcase full of squash. That's all they have.
Ah,
And soup's one of the thingies that Stephen uses in No Homeboys that I've forgotten the name of, but properly.
oh, I don't know what that's called, but like the stick with a
Yeah. It's like a I think it begins with a B.
yeah, a, a buzz. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. But it's odd, you know. It's like, so do they just live here for the summer? It's probably warm enough, I guess, but like there's not a lot of food or anything there. Or do they just like not live here for the summer, but they come every day, and this is just like them packing away in there this last time. But it seems to be the former more so. But it's Onion and Onion friends, and they are peculiar, and I guess that's all we know. So,
I mean, when I was
um,
young, I used to like go and visit my family for the summer, so
yeah,
maybe that's sort of their deal.
yeah. I mean, absolutely. It's just, it just gives the impression that they're living in the woods, which, like, I don't know. I don't know if they're doing that, but
It's just living in the woods.
just
That's what they do.
just living in the woods. Um, but yeah, we'll move on to the next part, which is, yeah, just Steven, has the revelation that he was the lonely boy, not Onion, and then the revelation that Onion was gonna be sad because his friends are leaving.
And at the end, we go back to the Stephen
Mhm.
being the narrator.
Yeah.
That he understands that while Onion's friends may not be there
Mhm.
during the autumn times,
Indeed.
at least they'll have each other.
Yeah,
And he becomes closer friends with Onion.
he does. And it's like also the what's the pedo
Excuse me?
peto, the bean, the
Pinto?
small pinto, that was it.
Pedo?
Yeah, I said peto, but I realized that's I was like, that's a bit close to another. That's not what I'm trying to say. Pinto seems to have much more emotional intelligence than a baby should again. It's like, are these things human? Is Garbanzo and Pinto actually just one creature that's connected through the backpack?
There's
Like, I don't know.
another alien species on Earth, and it's not the gems.
It's
It's just
it's,
Onion's gang.
it's the veg things. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, yeah, it's it's actually kind of a sweet episode.
It's a nice episode. People really don't like it,
Yeah.
and I get it. The first time I saw it, I wasn't a big fan either.
It's it's one of those episodes that I'm always like, oh yeah, and then I watch it and I'm like, no, it's really sweet actually. Some of the stuff's really creepy. Um, with like with the friends, it's like, what are these things and what are they doing? What's going on? But it's a sweet episode, and it gives us more. It gives us a deeper connection with Onion, which I feel is important for some of the things that go on at the end of the season. Um, is it the end of the season? I think it's the end of the season.
I think Stephen learns to
Yeah.
appreciate his friendship with Onion more
Yes.
because he
Absolutely.
was, while he was just doing it for, or like he was supposedly just doing it for like because he didn't want Onion to be lonely.
Mm-hmm.
He
Yeah.
later sort of comes to realize that, yeah, no, maybe that wasn't the right attitude to take, and actually, it should just be his friend
Yep.
for real.
Indeed. But yeah, it gets us like closer to Stephen, which is, yeah, when Stephen disappear. Stephen, Onion, which is, makes you more concerned for Onion when he disappears at the end of the season. Um,
Hmm.
I think
That's true. That's true. Spoilers.
spoilers, but What are you doing? Show's been out for years. We've been doing this for years. Um, so yeah, but that's the episode. Really, there's not a lot more to say on that one.
There's not a whole lot to say, but it is
But
quite fun,
it's
and I think it's
fun.
underrated.
I could agree with that.
What we have next is a double length episode.
A two-part episode that sometimes means that, and but sometimes just means it's an episode. It's the episode. Yes, it's weird.
This
Um,
is I like Gem Harvest. I think it's underrated, but
it's
we're going to
we're
talk
going
about
through
that one.
a bunch of underrated ones at the moment. It seems
Yeah, I think people rate season 4 not as high as they should.
interesting. Interesting. It's definitely one that I come back to much. So it'll be interesting to go back to for sure.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah. Damn, our first ramble for Steven Universe came out on November 16th, 2020.
Wow.
We've been doing this for almost
2 years.
almost 2 years and a quarter already. That's pretty crazy. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then we're going to be coming out a long time after we're done because we're like 20 or so episodes ahead
Oh, really?
of when we're releasing these. Yeah. We just had part 33 go up, which was Too Short to Ride and the new Lars, which is
Still on season 2.
still on season 3, but early
Season
season
3.
3.
Early season 3.
Early
Right,
season
yeah, that's
3,
true.
yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, damn. Anyway, we'll leave this one here. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Cabincast. For more episodes, go to www.cabincast.podbean.com or use the Podbean app. You can now also find us on iTunes and Pocket Casts under Cabincast and on YouTube. There are those here outside behind. Finally, you can find us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/Cabincast. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.